Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today, we're going to be talking about rejection and how to deal with rejection. I have Diana Garcia on the show. We're going to share our personal experience and give you some feedback. Get you something to drink, get you a snack, and come on back. Good morning, Diana.
Good morning, Jesse. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I ended up um, last night I went to the movies, just
Oh, what'd you see? Something good?
uh, it was a movie, some about with sharks, something in the water. Some It was actually a pretty good movie. It was either going to see that or the Michael Jackson movie or Devil Wears Prada 2. So I wasn't going to see the last one. And I already know about the Michael Jackson stories, and I like movies about sharks and water and stuff like that. So I decided to go and see that. But it was good.
Oh, good. That sounds like fun. Yay.
Yeah, it was. I got a extra large sub of popcorn. So I told
Oh,
myself,
you ate?
yeah, yeah. And I ate it all, but the reason why I get like the big ones, the extra large, so that I could bring it home. But I was so full, I didn't even feel like carrying that thing and get it refilled and take it to the car. I'm just like, I'm good. So
Yeah, that's a lot, especially with I know I share that with somebody if I go because it's like a lot. I mean, it's
it,
worth it. It's
yeah,
worth
it
it.
is worth it, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And then this morning I got up and did my little exercise. So after this, I'm gonna go to the gym, get that out the way, and because my workout routine is I do little abs and push-ups and walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes at home, then shower, then I go lift the weights. And so that's, we'll see how that work out. Because I'm a little bit tired now.
Oh, I can see your eyes are really low today.
Yeah, and then so when I got home for the movies, I couldn't sleep, so I stayed up binge watching shows. You
No.
know,
Something good?
yeah. It's called Family Business. Yeah, it's one of those type of movies, uh,
Ooh, getting
TV
in everybody's
shows.
business.
Yeah, yeah. It's on Net. Well, no, this was on Netflix, and then you can watch it on demand. But it was good. It was
Oh,
good.
good.
How you doing so far? How was your weekend been?
Good morning. Got my
Okay.
walkout with my dog and rock and
Yeah.
roll, man. Time to go.
Nice, 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 nice. Well, I want to kind of talk about this topic, rejection, because, I was thinking about how, rejection, it actually shapes positive or negativity in our life, depending on how we receive it and depending on how we deal with it when rejection knock at our door. So I'm just going to read the definition of rejection in a psychology term, and then we'll get right into it. So it says rejection in psychology is defined as the act of pushing someone or something away, refusing to accept, believe, or consider them. It's a fundamental aspect of human social dynamics occurring in various forms and intensities throughout our daily lives. From the subtle sting of being left on red in a text conversation to the gut wrenching pain of being abandoned by a loved one. Rejection is a major part of the human experience. So, that right there really spoke to me when I read that definition. Because I have so much share my own personal experience with being rejected and also rejecting people. But have you had any experience with being rejected?
Absolutely not. I've always been accepted, Jesse.
Fabulous.
And that's a big fat lie.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
because I mean, as you stated in the definition, it is a human experience, and everybody
Yes.
receives them, and how you receive them and how you deal with them is absolutely going to shape how you do things and what you do.
Yeah.
And fortunately for me, I had a really strong, and I still do have a strong base.
Yeah.
The strong base from the beginning, from my grandmother to my parents,
Yeah.
to aunts and uncles that really supported me at the beginning of my life. So I think that helps a lot with
Yeah.
people when they, when they're going through these different experiences.
Yeah.
Because and my grandfather too, my grandfather on my mom's side, I was really close to those. That was part of our family dynamics. They were very a lot of things that happened growing up. Without them, I don't know that I'd be as confident as I am now,
Yeah.
because those rejections, they start at the beginning of when you're interacting with friends and family, and how you might not be accepted at certain levels.
Yes.
I mean, I recall the first time that I was rejected in terms of uh, in a social gathering. uh,
Yeah.
I remember growing up, every time that I got that I earned some money for something, I always got music.
Yeah.
Back in my day, it was 45s.
Yeah. Yeah.
Went to the record before catechism. Went to the little record place that was in the little town of Lincoln, and I
Yeah.
would go there and pick up a 45, and with whatever monies that I was able to earn for that week. And so I had a pretty good selection.
Yeah.
I had a pretty good selection of my record. In fact, I wish I still had that record.
Yeah.
All those records, the 45s and the albums, because they are worth some money now. But because I kept them very, very pristine. But anyway, I remember being asked to go to a party, and it was a big party, and I thought, oh my gosh, how fun! I'm getting accepted into this big gathering. And I was, preteen, and I was excited about it. And then when I got there, I didn't realize, because I was asked to bring my music, of course, because I always had my music when I went to gatherings of that sort. And I didn't realize that the reason why I was being asked was because of my 45s
Oh
and
wow.
my albums. So I basically became the DJ, and I was not part of the social gathering
Wow.
that was happening. So that really hurt, because I thought I was being part of this group, and that rejection. I think that's the first time I ever had rejection in that regard, and such a big stage.
Yeah.
And it was really disappointing. And thankfully, I my mother, she liked to talk about everything. Sometimes it used to bother me, but it was a good
Yeah.
thing, because then that's how I learned how to communicate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we talked about it, and it's like, okay, so what are you going to do with this now? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, well, I know that when I do things, I'm going to be with people that I know are my friends before that, not just because of what I bring to the table.
Yeah.
If it's that, knowing that, I mean, going in knowing that is okay, but going in there not knowing that was really hard for me. So I think that was my first rejection, I think, that I could recall, that shaped me.
Yeah. Wow. It's interesting that you brought your the family dynamics up because my family dynamics was the totally opposite of yours. And that's when I first had my first experience with rejection through, my family dynamics. Starting with my biological father. He was never there, in and out, street person, hustler, womanizer, and all that. And although my mother was present in the home, to me, some of my personal experience with her, she wasn't present to meet my needs. And her and my dad, they, kind of had this strange relationships. He will, come around, and there was a lot of domestic violence and just stuff like that. But I always wanted a relationship with my father because at the time as a young boy, that was something that I wanted to have an experience with him on because my mom, she was, connected with my sister. She would teach them how to be a young lady and different things like that. And I didn't have that. And, me going sometimes looking for him and even going, he would be at these different bars, these different women's and stuff, going up there. And I remember people going in and getting him to come outside to talk with me. And it was a very short conversation, and he'll go back in there, you
He
know.
was not. He was not present.
No, not at all. And I didn't know back then the impact that that was going to have on my life, even going into adulthood, because there was a sense of rejection to me in my world. Because here it is, I'm like 7 or 8 years old. I'm going after my father, and I want him to teach me how to be a man, and this, and that. And he didn't have time for that. So fast forward it, I go into being a young adult and to college with all of this insecurities, rejection, and fear. All this stuff was on the inside of me. And I just wanted to get away from Chicago. I wanted to get away from my family. It was just too much in my mindset at the time. And so what did I do? I joined a fraternity, because the brotherhood,
Mhm.
acceptance and, support and love. And it was none of that.
Really?
Oh, no, 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 no. It was none of that.
Oh, oh my goodness.
No, 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 no. So they, first of all, they physically and mentally haze you to get in the organization.
Oh, that's right. All that
Yeah.
hazing.
Yes.
They break
And
it's almost like they try to break you.
yeah, oh, they did break me, and a lot of people too.
Oh,
And so I was met with that, and that was a form of abuse and rejection because I was trying to go through this process and I want to be accepted. But during the process, they do not accept you. They make you earn your way in. So
mhm.
now I'm fighting for acceptance, but I'm getting this pushback, this rejection from these guys for like 3 months. And so finally I get in this organization and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be, oh, we like blood brothers. We love each other. We support each other. We help. None of that. It was a lot of sleeping with girls. It was a lot of partying. It was a lot of drinking. There was a lot of ego. It was a lot of, we fought sometimes. It wasn't, trust me, it wasn't at all. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
oh no, 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 not at all. You had different, what we call,
Clicks.
yeah,
Clicks. So
yeah,
they had them over here. This people, they stay
yeah.
together. This people stay
Yeah,
together.
yeah, exactly. It was a lot of clicks in there because you had different people pledge at different time periods. So the way you're trained, the people that you pledge with is your closest brothers. Although we all in the same organization, so you may have somebody come back from 3 years ago that pledged 3 years before you, coming back trying to tell you what to do or trying to say, "Oh, our line is better, our line is better." So that it was. I was like, no, it was a lot. So that is still in my, bag of trauma, so to speak, And, I did a lot of work to really combat the rejection by, doing self-care throughout the years. My mindset was, oh, it don't nobody care about me, it's just me. So I went into different relationships and friendships, with my guard up, being defensive because didn't want to be hurt no more. Didn't want to be rejected no more. And so, obviously started going to see the therapist and start getting some of these issues worked out. Not all of them at once, but some of them worked out and stuff. But it was just interesting because when I was creating this interview question and kind of think about this, I realized my rejection started from childhood at home. You
Well,
know,
that's the base. The base. The
yeah,
base is what's going to start it. The
yeah,
foundation on how
yeah,
you're raised. I mean, even though it's hard. It's hard to, get around that and understand how that's going to work because it's if you don't have that base at the beginning, you really have to struggle and fight, as I've
yeah,
noticed, with the different relationships that I've had in the past and currently. It's really hard when you don't have that base and to move past that, especially with that big hurt.
yeah,
And in what I have one of my best friends. We've been friends, gosh, over 35 years now. That's a long time. Um, a lot of trauma that she suffered and endured. It it was really hard for her to move past all the things that happened to her from her mom and her dad.
Oh yeah.
And so when she came into my life, I had a strong relationship with my parents and my family. So she was drawn to that
Yeah.
and drawn to my mom because she was, so, motherly to her, so to speak. And
Yeah.
she had a stronger bond with my mother than she did with her own mother. And
Yeah.
then on the flip side, um, I helped her mom during a tough period when she was out of state, and
Yeah.
so I had a stronger bond with her mom than she did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to see that relationship flux back and forth over the decades, I'm glad that she was able to resolve it towards the end of her mom's life. But
Yeah.
it was really hard for her to move past all that trauma, and I was glad that she was able to while her mom was alive because
Yeah.
if you don't if you don't have that resolve, it stays
Hmm.
with you, as I've seen with a couple of my siblings,
Yeah.
because they still, because both my parents have passed, so they don't have resolve with my mom. There's a
Yeah.
couple of them that don't, and they have this, they're searching all the time for it
Oh yes. Hmm.
and trying to get that resolve. And it's really sad for me to see because
Yeah.
fortunately, as a kid and as an adult, I was always close to my parents.
Yeah.
Always close. My parents were close to me. If you were in a relationship with me, you knew that my parents, and I was always criticized for this, but they always came first. If
Yeah.
something was going on, something it's always going to be my parents first. I mean,
Yeah.
my parents even went on my vacations with me.
Yeah.
And when I was in relationships, sometimes that could be a problem, but
Yeah.
that was the package you got when you were with me. My parents
Yeah.
came first. I
Yeah.
helped them with all of their doctor's appointments, all the things as they got older. Even when they weren't older and they were on their own, there was a constant communication daily, at least once a day with my mom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was kind of hard for people because that was my constant. So seeing that with the different people in not having that relationship with their parents, I could see the problem and the rejection and constantly trying to get that,
Hmm.
that affirm, that I'm good enough and that they love me is so hard and so sad to see.
Yeah, yeah. It's very, very, very challenging when you don't have that healthy upbringing from your parents, because it everything to me starts home. I think that, obviously we got the education system where teachers have to play a scholastic role in one's life when they go to school and try to teach them and train them, when it comes
And the
to.
mentoring and the
Right,
mentoring.
right, right. Yeah, exactly. But it starts at home with the parents, your upbringing, your support, the love they give, and different things like that. And I found that when I did get in different relationships through the years or had friends that comes from a two-parent home that was healthy, and when I began to kind of talk a little bit about my background, it was very hard for them to understand that way of life. You know what I'm saying? It was very hard for them to, like the parents, it was very hard for them not to grow up and loving their kids and taking care of their kids. And they couldn't even imagine not being a good parent in their own way. And it was hard for my friends and some of their siblings to imagine not having a healthy environment to grow up in, or even to grow up in a dysfunctional home. And through the years, as I began to form these different relationships and friendship, I've learned that I could not make them understand where I came from in terms of that, because that was not their experience. It just wasn't, you
Well,
know.
I was lucky in the fact that I had friends growing up that were in a lot of dysfunctional homes.
Yeah,
So I mean, lucky in terms of seeing it as
yeah,
as as a preteen, seeing what happens in a household where you're not accepted, reject, or you're not respected, rejected, and everything, all those negative things that I didn't know what they were. When you
Yeah.
see it in somebody else's family and what happens, because when somebody tells you that, it's like, I think they're overreacting a
Right.
little,
Exactly.
a little.
Uh-huh.
And so when you see it firsthand, it's like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
this has been happening to you your whole
Yeah.
life. And to
Yes.
have that realization, in fact, a lot of times growing up, I always thought that, it's like my mom wanted to talk about everything. We had family meetings.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had monthly family meetings. My mom was like that. And I used to hate those because it's
Yeah.
like, oh God, we got to talk about all this crap.
Right.
But I didn't realize it's good to talk about all that stuff.
Yes.
And it was good. And she got pushback from her because she came from a family of 10.
Yeah.
And from her siblings, they're like, what are you doing? When you have a kid, you just push them down. This is what you do. This is how you. And so my mom was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not what I'm doing with my kids.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Yeah.
have a voice.
Yeah.
The old antage, seen but not heard. Uh,
Yeah.
my mom
Yeah.
was not like that at all.
Yeah.
So, and I think that helped me in a lot of respects as I am now because I do speak out, as you know,
Yeah.
sometimes a little too loud, but
Yeah.
it's just because of my passion about things. But it's important if you don't get that at the beginning, and then seeing the people who were just totally disrespected and disregarded. It
Mm-hmm.
was it, it was very hurtful for me to see somebody that I cared about, a friend, being rejected like that.
Yeah.
And growing up, most of my friends were always gravitating towards my mom, which was like, why do you want to talk to my mom? But
Yeah.
they had the adult that would talk to them, true, and
Yes.
guide and mentor. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize all that. I just thought it was like, why do you want to, look, why do you want to go
Yeah.
talk to my mom at my house? It's like,
Yeah.
let's go do
Yeah.
something. And it's like, you know
Yeah.
what? I really want to talk to your mom. And it's like, okay. And so
Yeah.
then we carry on. But after they had their little session, as even my cousins say, they used to have sessions with my mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so interesting.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about rejection for this particular meeting, I was like, wow, that's a hard one because to feel that rejection and to talk about it in, not only personal but professionally too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really hard. And it because you have to come to that realization that you were rejected,
Yeah.
whether it be for a job
Yeah.
which you think you're qualified for,
Mm-hmm.
or in the business that we do now, having to reject somebody who's looking for a home or a
Yeah.
place to live.
Yeah.
That is really hard
That
to
is.
to give that information to somebody who, in their mind, thinking that they're trying the best that they can to find a place to live,
Yeah.
shelter.
Yeah.
And so those rejections are hard. And even now doing interviews and rejecting people for
Mm-hmm.
positions. I
Yeah.
I feel bad for having to reject some people, but you have to,
Yeah.
in regards to where they're at in their life and if they'll be a good fit for the positions that we're looking for. But in our business, with the people who are looking for a place, that's really hard for me when there's nothing that we can do, or that they don't qualify for something they've done in their past and they've been rejected, and you've done everything you can to try to make sure that they can find a place to, a shelter.
Yeah.
And so that rejection's always hard for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree with you with that. I think in our line of work, some of the population we serve, they are probably 85% of them are used to being rejected, so to speak, you
Yeah.
know. But I think where the sting comes in that when they finally try to get on the right track and, make improvements to their life and feel like, oh, well, you know what, I want to get off the streets now. I want to go, in the home now and try to, be a productive member of society. When they get to that point, obviously, there's barriers because of, lack of credit or eviction on their record or just, things like that. And when they can't overcome those barriers to get to where they're trying to go, I think that stings a little bit more because a lot of times they don't realize that their past has caught up with them. you know, a lot of them was using substance and just mental health issues, whatever. And now they stable mentally, or and they like, okay, I'm ready to do this now. And I think that part that bothers me. I worked for a different agency where if we have to do landlord incentives, make a long story short, and so we had something set up for specifically for clients who had an eviction on their records. Now the 290s we couldn't really do too much for because
Oh,
you
that's the
know
hard one, the 290s.
yeah
And truth, I really had a hard time working with the 290s.
oh really
I really had a hard time working, and I still do, and I know that's wrong because we should treat everybody the same. But
yeah
the 290s, I just have a hard, especially when it's somebody who's moving in with another person with
yeah
kids.
yeah
That is just really hard for me, especially when the partner's like, oh no, he was wrongfully accused, or she.
yeah
And uh, and I'm like, well, they went to jail in prison. There must have been something.
yeah
And then, of course, the pushback on that is, I've done my time. I should be able to live. And it's like, okay, in my mind, I'm thinking you've done your time, but what you've done to those kids is going to be with them for the rest of their lives.
yeah yeah
So I don't have a hard time reject or not rejecting, but having a hard time, if they've been rejected, because it's like, you know what, it. I don't know if there's any cure for that. I guess that's kind
yeah
of judgy, but
yeah
I just don't see how people like that change, especially over time and time again, and the people who do report that, and then the people who don't, it's more that don't than do
yeah
report that kind of behavior and bring up those charges. But the 290s, I don't really have a problem with rejection,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
that's terrible. But that's just how I feel personally. You try not to bring your
your
personal
own.
feelings into things, and what's happening with society. But I have a hard time with the 290s.
Yeah, I was at an agency I worked for like many, many years ago, and a 290 came across, the staff desk or whatever. And this person had multiple, I'm just gonna say 290 charge. We're gonna use that for the sake of this show. And one was very recent at that time. I think it was maybe like 7 or 8 months or whatever.
Oh, oh,
That was
dang.
very recent. And so, the referring party wanted to, advocate for this individual. And keep in mind, it's like 6, 7 years ago. And, pretty much we had to shoot it down. But there was a safety concern because of the setup of the program. And, um, the female staff obviously they didn't feel comfortable. They talked about the female clients that were part of the program and like how's it going to affect them if we put this person in there. And but the firm party they was appealing, they was advocating, but the decision was carefully made, to protect the safety of the clientele and the program, especially since some of the charges was like fairly new. But on the flip side of that, what do you do when a person's past come in play and they really, the change, they really, it's a mistake. Back then it was just like, oh, but what if they really had a change of heart? What if they was really on the right straight and narrow? Like, what do we do about that as uh providers?
Well, the thing is with that if you have to be registered,
Yeah,
and no matter what you do, it's going to follow you. And the in the job that I do right now, of course, schools, close by schools.
Yeah.
All those different places where kids are involved, or participate, they have to be away from. So the only way that I would suggest that happens with these particular cases is that they would be in a area, maybe a manufactured home out somewhere
Yeah.
where there's 2 acres around it or something.
Yeah.
And even then, as you see, there is a lot of pushback with the public when that does happen,
Yeah.
because it's like, I got kids, grandkids that are, roaming the country roads and everything else, and it almost makes it like a ground where they could be, in trouble
Yeah.
because it's so secluded. But then
Yeah.
on the other side, they can't be with society, so to speak, with in kids are everywhere, whether
Right.
it's schools or it's parks or it's everywhere. So
Yeah.
um it's almost like I wish there was just like a special place where they could all go, and then
Right.
that way they're all in one spot, then everybody can kind of keep track of them, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, and I understand that they're being rejected for something that they think that they've overcome. um but from the research that I've done, I don't think that any of them can change. They can try to stop the behavior, but the situation is still within them, trying to just keep it at bay, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the part that is hard for me to understand,
Yeah.
because it's almost like they were just, that's what they do, that's what they
Yeah.
are. And I just have a problem with that. And as I think anybody who loves kids would have that same
Right.
problem.
Yeah.
And not to
Yeah.
get political, and that's the reason why the administration that's there right now is very infuriating, because those types of perpetrators, starting from the head up, don't
Yeah.
seem to see a problem with that. and
Yeah.
and that's where I have a problem, is
Yeah.
I will always be not only a senior advocate but a child advocate too. And when I see that those populations are not really watched, in my opinion, enough and guided, I have a problem with those kind of people.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and even with that, it's not just children too, but adults too, meaning they target different sort of people, so to speak.
Well,
I
people
mean,
with no, I want to say abilities instead of disabilities. People with disabilities, abilities, to me, they take
yeah,
advantage of those kind of people, whether it could be all the different things that you could take advantage from somebody from that, whether it's money or
yeah,
sexual or physical abuse. And then they think that that's love,
yeah,
because they're afraid of being rejected.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and I've seen that a lot too in my travels in the business that I do now. And
yeah,
it's really disheartening, because especially somebody that really has a hard time thinking that they're really being abused
yeah,
because of the rejection, accepting that abuse because they
yeah,
want to be accepted and not be rejected.
yeah. I know somebody who I want to say it's correct. I know somebody who was rejected by their mom growing up, and this individual only sought out relationships with older women. He's a young man and just on, and obviously, if you know a story, he had mommy issues, but he always targeted women like that, maybe 30 years older than him, 20 years older than him, and stuff like that. And neither relationship ended up working out. Because I think he wanted the relationship to be more than what it was. When you're dealing with someone older and wiser, have more life experience, they're not, they're more seasoned and they can, um, discern and be intuitive with a lot of things that's going on with you when you're young and that age and trying to run game and doing stuff like that. And so he eventually ended back up over there with his mom, which I thought was interesting too. And, and I thought to myself, like, wow, this rejection started there at that home. And now as an adult, he kind of ended up back there. And and of course the mom, she's just like whatever, so I thought to myself as I was preparing these interview questions, I'm like, I wonder how that's going to work out. It's kind of like you go back to your abuser, so to speak, mental abuser and stuff.
Well, in what I'm seeing in my travels is that when somebody does something like that, unless they don't have somebody professional to kind of interact and mediate and try to interject in those kind of relationships that are especially with a mom, dad, or a child parent, and
Yeah,
trying to have those conversations because even though they might physically be together and that person might be an adult now, the child, it's not gonna change
right,
unless you have
exactly.
those conversations and try to get work through all those things,
Yeah,
as through, and myself too, through therapy. Unless you go through those, you don't you just because you're put in the same situation doesn't mean that it's going to change,
right,
and
right.
it's not going to be healthy unless you go through that in the correct manner, whether it's a
Yeah,
therapist or a counselor to help you guide you through those things, because
yeah.
when you're in it, you don't know how to navigate that, because what you're
Hmm.
searching for, you can't really communicate with that person, and the person that rejected you don't know what to do with that,
Yeah, yeah,
and how to make that so, and maybe not even know how to put that into words as to what you're looking for and
hmm,
why that relationship was fractured, and how you can heal that, because you have to heal it within.
right.
But and it's always easier to do it when the person's still around,
Yeah,
that you can have that honest, and know that even though you might have that honest um communication with that person, you might get rejected again because
yeah,
they're not going to see that they've done anything wrong.
yes,
So you have to be open to that, knowing
yeah,
going into that, if you're going to be doing that kind of, um, with a therapist or a counselor,
yeah,
when you go into that, knowing that you're needing this, you have to be open to it, which puts
yeah,
you opens up to everything,
yeah,
and then know that that person, whether it's a parent or whoever it might be, that rejection is going to happen again, and know that it's okay. You just got
yeah,
to get what you need to get out to heal yourself.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's interesting too because like myself, I think as I was preparing for this interview, obviously I like to reflect on my own life because I like to be transparent when we have these conversations. And one of the things I notice about myself is I've rejection just been has been a part of my role through life. Just growing up, the first person went to college, growing up in the ghetto. I'm a sellout. I'm this. I'm that because I wasn't.
The
Uh,
family rejection.
yeah, yeah, because I wasn't. I wasn't 100% perfect. Let me be clear, but I
Oh,
knew
oh,
how
come
far to
on,
go.
Jesse. I know I'm perfect.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I knew how far to go. And so now I'm at a point where I don't. It's just I don't know. Like it's weird because I don't. I'm at a point I don't really care, and that's not. I'm gonna explain why I don't care, but it's not a good thing and it's not a bad thing. Like I don't. I had a situation happen recently, whatever, and I think that kind of probably tipped the scale with me a little bit. But now I'm in this mind frame of self care. I have a friend who actually graduated today from college. And so, would talk or whatever. And so now this is a while back conversation. He telling me that he's not gonna invite his parents or family to his graduation, but the girlfriend family comes. So that conversation went south because I don't understand that. Whatever, okay, your choice. But, then we kind of had some, a little bit back and forth about that because it's just life. You can do what you want to do here in adult. But you ask my opinion, I'm going to give you my feedback.
Hmm.
You open that door. And so, but as of lately, I just been finding like, I really don't want to be bothered with, I don't really be bothered. And now this is when we would like hang out a lot. And so the other day we kind of, I was talking to him like, hey, you know, you're getting ready for your graduation, you're taking pictures. Oh, it ain't a big deal. And da da da. I'm like, well, you should take some at least send to your family and stuff, your mom and dad. And I said, I know your girlfriend, her family, they're gonna, not a big deal. It doesn't matter my family getting or not. And I just like that just anyway, so I'm like, yeah, okay. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I got to give him some space because I'm trying to have a productive conversation. I'm more excited about his graduation than he is. Not that he's doing anything wrong. That's just his setup. But for me, I'm like, you know what, Jay? Let me give him some space because this is about myself at the moment. My what am I looking for? Self care.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
I,
saying?
I totally get that. And so what happens as you start
Yeah.
to go through these travels, this life,
Yeah.
eventually those kind of things, especially when people are not in the same space as you,
Yeah.
they those kind of relationships kind of move to the side.
Oh,
Not that you don't
100%.
not that you don't love them,
Yeah.
but they're going to live in the life that they're going to live in.
Yes.
And sometimes those people, well, most of the time, they're not looking for your feedback. They just want a soundboard where they can just sound.
Big.
But
Yes.
eventually you're like, you know what, this is not a good space for me to be in.
Right.
And
Right.
so then become not in your immediate in
Yeah.
um your immediate people as you
Friend
see
group.
it right now. They're
Yeah.
still there, but they're not the people that you're going to be flocking with, so to speak, because
Yeah.
those are the people that you want to the people that you flock with are the ones that are in the same space as you and have the same conversations as yourself. And in my travels, as I work on myself also, because we're always working on ourselves, I hope. And if you're
Yeah.
not, then you're dead, in my opinion.
Right. Right.
I mean, I know that I'm not always right, and I try to keep my head open and my mind open just to make sure that I'm not looking at something so close-minded
Yeah.
as we see a lot of people that are so close-minded.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best right now, especially with the world, not to be so close-minded and try to be open and more
Yeah.
positive because it could be really easy to go down that wormhole, so to speak. So what happens as you get older, those people are not in your present group,
No.
as to speak. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. No.
Maybe they might be, but if they're going to be doing the same thing over and over again and they're happy with that, it's hard when they keep talking about it over and over again because
Yes.
they're not ready to have that change yet. They're not
Yes.
ready to open that door to
Yeah.
move on. And
Yes.
if you can have those people in your life, if you need to have those people in your life, you have to know that.
Yeah.
But if you're working on your own self and you're trying to get rid of that kind of negativity, I think it's negativity,
Yes.
in my opinion,
Yes.
then it makes it hard to have them in your everyday present life.
I 100% agree. And this is not our first rodeo, to be honest with you. And I just, I've distanced myself, no phone call, no text message. But now I notice that um, I can tell this individual feels rejected because
Mhm.
I've not responded. I have not answered no phone calls. I've not answered no text messages. I've not none of that. That's why I said I went to the movies. I went to the movie by myself last night because I don't want to be bothered. I don't need that in my space. But
Mm.
that's my choice because I know what works for me and my self care, my mental health, and what does not work for me. I told you a while back, and I hope this person don't see this either, but I did that before about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I just went ghost because it's too much. And then the individual ended up coming up to my job because I didn't respond for almost 2 weeks, in which that kind of set me off. Like, what are you doing up at my job? And blah 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 blah. So I didn't. After that, it was like another 3 or 4 days. Then they was like, "Can I meet up with you?" So we met up, and then they was explaining it because I went in there. I was like,
What are you doing in my business?
right, like
You're
what's going on here?
this is
Yeah,
my business. And
yeah. And so they
yeah,
had a good excuse. I do believe, I generally do believe the individual only because they reached out to somebody else on my behalf that I don't even talk to. So they was, I thought you was Man, I
Or
thought you was dead or something. They thought I was deceased because I never did that before.
yeah.
Because I'm a communicator. I like the talks and texts and all of that. But I had to explain to them I have to start setting my boundaries with you because you are a trigger for me. A lot of times when I come around you, I don't leave in a good space. We used to be cool and kiki ha ha, but you got all this stuff going on. I'm a friend. You put this stuff on me, put all this, you want to talk, and then when I don't want to listen, or if I get my opinion, then you feel some type of way because you feel like, oh, you one of the closest friends I got, and blah, 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 blah. And that's not something I want, for my life and for myself. And I had to explain to them and make them see why I had to ghost them like that. And that's my second time ghosting them. And
Okay, okay, okay. I don't mean to interrupt you, but just a suggestion going forward, because I've had to
yeah,
do this myself with different people in my life. I mean, even siblings.
yeah,
So what I've done when that's happened, when I'm like, you know what, I'm done,
yeah,
I will let them know. I will
yeah,
have a conversation, maybe not face to face, but maybe on the telephone. Say, hey, I understand where you're at right now, which is fine, but I'm in a different space. So if something happens that's major, please contact me if you want to. But we need to have separate relationships in this regard, especially
yeah,
especially if it's a family member. You let them know, and a
yeah,
close friend too.
yeah,
I had to do that with a close friend who we had been good friends since grade school, and found out that I mean she at the time was having issues, and I was going through things, but it was like a lopsided relationship, friendship, and I'm like, you know what, I love you, I wish you well, but right now I have a lot on my plate, and I have to be there for myself, and
right,
I can't with you right now, and I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I wish you well,
right,
but
right.
this is how it has to be for me right now. I'm taking
Yep,
care of me. So instead of ghosting them, having that information up front and let them know, and then that way they're not going crazy going, oh my gosh, what happened, because he's never done this before
yeah,
to me. And then that way they
yeah,
know that going forward, you've told them your truths, whether they
yeah,
know that or not, or even understand, that doesn't matter.
yeah,
You've given the information that you need to, as far as I'm taking care of myself. I'm going to have to take a pause on this for now. I
yeah,
wish you well. Hopefully
yes,
our paths will cross again, but this is what I
yes,
have to do for me for right now.
yes.
And then that way it doesn't becomes this escalation.
Yeah, because it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I'm telling you, I feel, I don't know. I just feel more at peace without a lot of the
Boop, 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 boop,
people.
boop, 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 boop,
Yeah,
boop, boop.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny because one of my nieces, she's kind of like me in regards to, if she wants to do something, she just does it on her own.
Yes.
And my brother, who's her father, he's all, man, she's just like you. If she
Yeah.
wants to do something, she just does it. She doesn't have to have somebody there
Right.
or think that this is what she needs to do. In fact,
Yeah.
my niece and I've had this conversation where she doesn't mind living on her own and by herself. She doesn't have to have somebody with her.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And
Uh-huh.
I applaud my niece who's younger, and I'm like, that makes me so happy for you,
Yeah.
because you have that confidence and that ability to live on your own and not feel like that it's not something that you can accomplish,
Right.
because of the you have to do this for that and whatever.
Yeah.
And so she goes to concerts and different events on her own too,
I
which,
know that's right. Really. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I have family and friends that would die if they went out to eat by themselves or went to the movies by themselves. And to
No
me, I
way.
don't understand that. I'm like, how could you
Yeah.
not enjoy your company? Because they're like, well, how could you do that on your own? And it's like, well, I love me, myself, and I say
Right.
that a lot. I'm great company.
Yeah. Right. Right.
I I enjoy my humor. Might be a
Right.
little off, but I
Yeah.
enjoy my humor.
Yeah.
And I don't need to have somebody to it's nice when you can share that with somebody who's on that's a really good friend and
Yeah.
that you have those same lives, but if you're leaving that event or that whatever you're doing with that person and you're feeling like, "Oh my gosh, that was just horrible." It's like,
Yeah.
that is not that is not where I want to spend my space.
Exactly.
It should be something that should be celebrated and not. I'm not saying that every time you get with somebody, it's all about bells and whistles and
Yeah.
butterflies. But having those real conversations with somebody and knowing that you're both being heard.
Yeah. 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 A lot of a lot of times it's I don't know. I think it's more, yeah, I don't know. I just, yeah. I'm not putting any more effort in it. And I'm just like,
Well, that makes me really happy for you.
yeah,
It
yeah,
really does
yeah.
because I see it in your whole demeanor at work.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just saying, I see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know when you're reverting back, and then I
Oh
have
yeah.
to prod you with something going,
Yeah.
okay, what's
Yeah.
going on? And that's the reason because it just changes everything that you do.
It 100% does. It affects your whole day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, your whole being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like to use the word aura, your aura too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, it's yeah, but I'm good. I'm good. And I'm definitely in a better space for sure.
Yay.
Yeah.
That makes me happy for you.
Here's the thing though. I did about a month ago, about 6 weeks ago, I ain't gonna say that. Um, you know, when we had, because there was several conversations leading up to the graduation, I'll be honest. And so he let it be known that, yeah, just the girlfriend and her family, not my family, whatever. That's been an ongoing conversation. So my whole thing was like, well, because it was a few of us that all hang together. So none of us, obviously, we're not going to the graduation. We can't even celebrate this graduation. Blah 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 blah. But this weekend, of course, and so we said, oh, well, next weekend, which would be the weekend of the 8th. That was established a long time ago. I don't even think I want to be involved in that. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think I'm going to take your advice and maybe send a text message or some, maybe Wednesday or some, not now, because it's too
It
much. But
becomes this thing.
yeah, I don't even want to be involved in that. I
Yeah.
just, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. When you're feeling that,
yeah,
then you know that you need to take a different turn.
yeah,
Because it's got to be about what's going to be good for you. Can't just be
100%.
it can't be one sided.
Yeah,
And I learned that early in my early adult life that it can't be one sided. I always thought it was not a big because of the rejection part of it
yeah,
too. Because you
yeah,
think, and especially when you put a lot of time,
yeah,
because when I had to do that, the first time I had to do that with my best friend since childhood, that was really hard for me
yeah.
because I knew I was going to be rejecting her and I didn't want her to think that I didn't care about her. It's not that I didn't. I just had to take care of me.
Right.
And that's the thing that I conveyed. I don't think that she heard it though, because she was
Yeah,
taking it as a total rejection, and I
yeah,
and I felt bad about that, but I had to take care of me too. And
yeah.
as you're doing now, you're trying to take care of yourself. And it's
Exactly.
and it's easy to revert back. It happens. When you take two steps forward, sometimes you might take a step back. But as long as you keep going forward, then that's a good thing.
So this is what I do with situations like this. When I ended up meeting up with him and a couple more friends and stuff, I'm always going into this situation knowing that my mind is made up. I'm no longer gonna be a part of this clique or friend group the way I was 8 months ago or 9 months ago. To be honest with you, that's how I really go into it. So I don't really enjoy it as much. I'm a little bit standoff. My tongue is a little bit sharp, short, and they can see it. They can
Well,
because I don't.
but the thing is Jesse, to grow,
Yeah,
let them know. You know what? I love you guys, but I have other endeavors that I'm reaching you
yeah,
for. I'm doing a lot of self-care right now. don't
yeah,
don't be don't feel like I'm rejecting you, but
yeah,
I'm doing this for me, and I wish you well, all of you.
yeah,
And because so if you make that kind of exit they're still going to reach out and wonder why, but at least you could tell them your truth, and
Yeah.
it's upfront, and then
Yeah.
that way it doesn't become all this drama.
Yeah. Okay,
Just a thought. Just a thought.
I'll think about it. Yeah, I'll think about it. So let me ask you a question, Dana. Do you feel like rejection can cause not only mental health but physical health as well?
Oh, absolutely,
Physical
absolutely.
challenges, I should say. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Because then what happens when you have that physical rejection? Then you
Mm-hmm.
start, what can you control? Then you
Right.
start doing things to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's food, alcohol, drugs,
Yes.
um, work, whatever.
Yes.
You
Mm-hmm.
start to go down a terrible, terrible path. And
Yeah.
it happens a lot. I've seen it, unfortunately. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, so look what you did to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be roped into that, that's a hard one because I've had that with family and friends, close family and friends that have done that to me, and I'm just like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm sorry this is happening to you, but it's by your choices, and I can't help, especially if you're an enabler. And that
Yeah.
was a hard one for me to get over. It's like,
Yeah.
the choices are your choices. You're an adult, and I'm an adult, and we're gonna live in an adult world. It's
Yes.
something that I've always
Yes.
said, and it's always been hard. And they think people think that that's being hard-headed about it, but I don't think it is. It's being truthful
Yes.
and not
Exactly.
to be mean, but
Yeah.
just so they know where you're at.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Dana, we've guess what? We've run out of time. You see how time goes so quick when we get on and start talking? Because we could solve it. We could run a world, man. You right.
Oh well, yeah, I'm telling you, we just keep
Right.
going.
Right. But no, thank you so much. But no, I really do appreciate you taking the time out. Of course, I love having a conversation with you here and off camera. And
Absolutely, I enjoy it too.
we'll do it again soon, okay?
Okay, sounds
All right.
good. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
And that's it for this edition of Mental Health Matters. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, if you would like a DVD copy of this show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.